This is the Artist Entrepreneur Podcast. We are your hosts, Amanda Ritchie, Noah Dock, and me, Kerry Wee. We're three artists brought together by the love of circus and dance. Amanda from the world of Cirque du Soleil as an aerial soloist. Noah, our academic, and me from the commercial dance world. This is one of the greatest jobs in the world, but it comes with uncertainty. Each episode contains insight on how to pursue art-based businesses. We'll have a variety of guests and have lively weekly Discord. Tune in every week to hear our perspectives on the minefield that is the artist's way of life. Oh my God, I miss you. It's only been a week and I miss you.
It's so fun. How are you feeling?
Oh, girl. Oh my God. So I go home and we're moving.
Right. Oh, shit. Right.
So it's bananas. It's bananas. And I'm like, I mean, we have time, but it's like, I hate moving, right?
I hate it more than life itself. Yes.
There's nothing worse when it comes to like tasks. Sloan is a dear friend of mine, and we just spent a week together in Oaxaca, Mexico.
Puerto Escondido, said the Canadian.
Escondido, said the Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian with no accent. Exactly.
We did aerial for a week. We were hot. We were sweaty. We spent so much time bonding. And I had made it a point not to ask Sloan to be on any of my podcasts up until now because she is so busy, and you have way more followers in the world than me. So I was like, I don't want to bug you, but you said I want to be on your podcast, and I said, oh my God, I'm so honored.
I'm honored. What are you talking about? I love people that are authentic. Doesn't matter how many followers you have yet or not or ever. It's just if you're authentic. If you're real, then I'm in.
Sloan walked into my class a while ago, and
special ed. Sorry, true story.
And ever since then, I've been in love with this one. So the reason why, besides that, the reason why I have her on here is because she's one person in my life who has experience going viral. She's not like biologically, like on the internet. And she's one person in my life who has managed to monetize her business in this way, which so many people that we hear about do. You know, all these people going viral. They have these YouTube, people you hear about on TikTok who have millions of followers, and they make money doing this. And so I wanted to bring you onto this podcast to talk about the nuts and bolts about running a business. In this position, if you would introduce yourself, explain what it is that you do and what you do.
You make me laugh.
A little bit about who you are. You're such a unique and special person. Unique is the word. Yeah, if you could do that.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to jump in, and then we're going to like dissect how you do this, because I want to take a page out of your book and do the same, hopefully in my life.
Okay. I will tell you. Okay, so I'm Sloan Bella. You said introduce myself. So yes, I'm Sloan Bella for those that don't know. And yes, that is my real birth name and married name. I did not make it up. I married a man with the last name Bella, and I'm never giving it up. So tough shit. And never given it up. And Sloan was my birth name. So part of my exploration in this life is I came into the world. I was in an orphanage at birth for almost a year. And then adopted. So I was adopted, and this is part of the foundation of what I'm explaining, into a wealthy family who was very earthbound business. So, invest your money, go to Harvard, go to wherever, go to a high-end school, get a degree, become an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, etc. So I had that in my head that this was normal to really put your mind into higher, loftier ideas than you maybe thought of when I was very young. But what they taught me is they were under the direction of other people in these businesses. So it was control. Even if you're a CEO, which my dad was, you're still under the control of the company and the stockholders and the this and the that. I am way too rebellious. And because I wasn't their bloodline, I was able to really operate as a different person. So no matter what they taught me, I took the bits and pieces from it and threw the rest out of my head. And as a result of that, I decided nobody was ever going to control me in my work. And that started real young. I left home at 14 and had to support myself. So I had no choice. I had no money, no court, no food. I left the house with the clothes on my back. So I learned. And I think I put myself in that position so that I could sink or swim. I swam. And I'm not dead and I'm not a drug addict. So that's part of also my success, because a lot of kids in that type of mindset will end up down that road. So I learned real young. And do you want me to say what my first part of my career was?
Yeah,
or no?
I want to hear all. I mean, a lot of this stuff, I haven't heard it in chronological order.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I know. I just blob out stuff. But so I left home at 14 and I had started running away at about age 10. And that could be because I'm adopted or just plain ass rebellious, which I am. I will not do what people want me to do. I cannot conform. Unless you hold my kid in front of me, then I'll do whatever you say. So when my kids were little, like you have a little girl, I would have bent over backwards to appease anybody for my child. Let me put it that way. Other than that, no. The only thing I cared about was my children. But I went, I couch surfed. I ended up in like flop houses. The police were looking for me because I was truant, obviously. I didn't get caught for a year. But in the interim, I always had the gift of psychic stuff. So I could always read people and I could always talk to them about their problems. So people would say, I'm having this problem with this guy or this girl or my parents. And I would give them an answer and they would come back if it made sense to them. Just with just no money exchanged. It's just something I did. And people saw that in me. So I was always helpful in that way. And I helped myself because I was a street kid then into the life of the drug dealers, the prostitutes, how young kids survive. And I ended up in a strip club. Yes, before Tracy Lords. So they didn't really crack down on ID, which is good. When I was 20, they started cracking down. That's when they busted, if you know the name Tracy Lords.
I don't know the name Tracy Lords.
Yeah, she'd be close to my age now, a little bit older. And they busted her for underage pornography actress. And they got her in California. So when I came to California, the police interviewed like all us kids that came from that kind of sex work background to see if we were underage at the time. But I worked at a club in Toronto and I just got up on a wet t-shirt contest because I had a little boyfriend that said I would never win the money. So I learned that if you, I'm like, you know me, I'm like, bro, is that a bet? We're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
And I go, you get up there, you won't win the money, but I will. So I jumped up on stage and I learned that these contests all over Toronto, because I'm from Toronto, Canada. I learned that these contests, you don't have to work for the club. You don't have to sign with a manager. You just come in and it's Thursday nights and you dance and you win. All the clients put their money in and whoever they want to give it to or vote on. Best wet t-shirt person, they give them the pot, which can be 500 to 3,000.
Oh.
And I'm talking in 81, 82. Okay.
Right.
So
that's a lot of money.
That old. Yeah. So I figured out I could work one day a week and win 9 out of 10 times because I was really only 14. So of course I'm going to win. That says something about men in our society, but
yeah.
that says something. So I would win and collect and win and collect. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to work in one of these clubs. So I started working as a dancer. And this is before they made dancers pay to work at the clubs. I quit when they started doing that. I had a 9-year career working in clubs, Toronto, Florida, Los Angeles, and I would just travel in between. Now, in between all of that, when I was 15, I got captured by the police. I call it captured. The police found me in a bar fight and I ended up in juvenile hall. And I was only 15 and they were going to put me in, what do you call it? It's like a school till you're 18 when they can't, like you're incorrigible. So you have to stay in like a government run facility.
Okay.
Because I was then a ward of the court. So I had become a ward of the court again. So my parents lost custody or whatever, and I became a ward of the court. I don't quite know how that works. So this lady in the court, she said to the judge, Your Honor, I'll take her into my group home. And I was like, who the hell is this bitch? Pardon my language, but that's what I said. And I went to stay with a lady in a group home. She had 12 girls, and it was the best experience of my life.
Oh.
It was the best. I was friends with her. She called before she died in 2018 and asked me to fly back to Canada. Her and her daughter called me and asked me to come stay with her. And she was the most beautiful human being and gave me a different perspective of myself. She was truly the one person who loved me. Whether she got paid from the government or not, we remained friends and spoke monthly her entire life. I took my kids to see her when I had my kids immediately. Like my husband met her, my kids knew, she was in my life. She was so lovely and she was a charitable person. So she taught me that part of whatever you do, you've got to give back in a different way. So I learned that because I was pretty pissed off when I went into her group home. I only stayed there for 8 months and then went to court and emancipated myself. I could only be under control for about 8 months. And then I emancipated myself from my parents and was legally on my own from 16. Spent the next 4 years stripping and doing readings while stripping for all the girls in the clubs and all the clients. In Toronto, they have the clubs and the girls dance and they have hotel rooms upstairs. So the prostitutes sit at the bar. It's a true story. That's how Toronto runs. The prostitutes sit at the bar and the clients go upstairs with them. So I would read both the clients. So I had double jobs, so I was always reading. And by reading, I mean people asking me questions psychically and me giving them answers. Now, they were usually questions about, if I go out with this guy tonight, am I going to get murdered? Or they were gamblers, where should I put my money at the track? That kind of low vibrational energy, I want to call it. Things I don't like to deal with and don't care. Like, I don't care if you win at the track. I don't care. Not that I can predict, but they would give me options. And I would say, pick this one, this one, this is what I feel. So I got my reputation real young for that. And I'd always studied astrology. So, and that's also what I am as a technically trained astrologer, which is a whole different modality than psychic. Tell me if I'm talking too much.
No, I'm enthralled.
Okay. So
I'm enthralled.
I was always doing astrology charts and doing, for people. So I would meet a dancer and I'd be like, give me your time of birth. Give me this. Let's run. Let's see. It was fascinating to me. So by the time I was 17, I was doing readings. I was dancing and doing readings. And my preferred clientele was anybody that could buy me cigarettes, booze, or get my hair done. Okay. That's true. So hairdressers, drug dealers, and whatever. I mean, I'd be like, what can you give me? What can we trade? I was in that mindset at the time. So I was kind of like a little hood rat back then. And I still had lofty ideas. So just one day I threw a party at my apartment and then left the country and came to Los Angeles and never went back. I mean, I went back in 99 to visit, but that was in 86. So I came to LA just with the clothes on my back and like $1,000 in the bank and $50 in my pocket, maybe. And which is appalling for the amount of money I was making at the time. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to start dancing again. And that's when I realized I was too young in LA, different laws. And so I couldn't be in a club with alcohol because I wasn't 21. So that threw a little wrench in my get up and my buggy. And I had to work around that. And I finally found a job and I worked from 86 to 1990 in the clubs in Los Angeles and really honed my psychic ability through people I met in the club. So I started doing the counseling work. So double duty. And I was really lucky. You're going to think, do you want me to tell you this crazy story?
Oh my God, I want to hear all the crazy stories.
Okay, so I had met a guy when I was in Toronto in the club, and he gave me his phone number. He was an old guy. He was probably like 60 at the time, and I might have been like 16. And he's like, if you're ever in LA, here's my number. Well, this bitch will call a guy on that shit if you say it to me. So 3 years later, I show up in LA. I call this number. He has no clue who I am, but he's probably like way older at the time, but he comes to pick me up. And I'm staying at the YMCA on Hollywood Boulevard. It was like $25 a night. So that's where I'm staying. That's after I arrived and went on a party for a month. I found some guy in the Burbank airport driving a taxi and went with him for a month. All of that aside. So then I stayed at the YMCA and I met this guy and he says, I want you to meet my young friend. I said, okay. He goes, he's from Canada and he's an astrologer and I think you'd get along really well with him. So he calls this guy up and I go. I mean, the guy comes to meet me And he turns out to be a world-class astrologer. He is 21 years older than me. So he's young for that guy, but old for me, right? And I start training with him daily for like 2 years. So I'm doing my dancing, but the rest of my time is spent in just complete metaphysic training, if you will. Just random, he popped in. We went to the same school growing up. Is that not weird? Like we grew up in the same neighborhood. Very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And we're both here and we met by random weirdo guy. But anyway, thank God for that, because it showed me this guy worked on his own and he worked from his house. And I got a firsthand view of what was possible. So you have to surround yourself by people who are doing what you want to do so you can see what they're doing. So he had like a beach cottage and I would just stay in the bedroom while he was reading clients at his kitchen table. Or I would go out, but like if I wasn't ready to go out, I would just stay in the bedroom, right? And I learned that he was able to support himself doing readings. We got gym memberships. He would do readings for him. Obviously, I get my hair done. He would do readings for him. The clients. So from that point
he would trade for everything.
He would trade for everything and they would pay him. So from that point on, I started doing that and I started following my instinct. I did not listen to a thing that another person told me, okay, about how to run a business because I'd witnessed what he did. So I'm like, I can do what he does. I mean, if I have the ability, I can't just do it, but if I'm able to do my version of that type of work, which is metaphysical. So I did. I started just doing one-on-one readings with people and I made it priority so that by the time I got married and had my kids, clients were in my house or wherever. I would read them in coffee shops, on the street corner, wherever at the time to build business. Now, the other thing that I did is I didn't really want to be an actress, like be a character actress. I always wanted to be myself. So it's in the authenticity of who you are. And it's an energetic thing when you want to work as an entrepreneur. You have to believe that there is no block with money. And people believe that you can only make money through hard work. And that's not true. Money is a frequency. So the more you worry about this frequency, the more it's blocked from you. You have to understand that. That's the other side of it, not the logical side, the illogical side, or the side we don't deal with. So I never thought I couldn't make a shit ton of money. It never occurred to me. Like, it just never occurred to me. When people say it's so hard to do this, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't listen to what other people say. Do you understand that? You've had people tell you stuff, right? I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, so you just had an abundance in your mind.
Yes. Nothing stops me. Yeah. You tell me I can't do it, I'll do it. You tell me I can't do that, I'll do that if I want to. Not if I don't want to. I'm not going to bother. But yeah, it never occurred to me that I couldn't. And it's not until I got around other people with their poor mindset when it comes to money. I don't save money. I don't not save money. I look at money just like I look at breathing. And that sounds ridiculous. I know you're going to get flack for that one. But I don't save for the future. I just wake up. If I want to work today and I need a certain amount of money, I do that. If I don't, I don't. Because my freedom and my time is more valuable than money. So if I'm working too hard, I don't like that either. So I've worked it where just what I need comes to me in my mind. Truthfully, I sound crazy, I know. But the other thing is, yeah, and business-wise, I run my psychic and astrology business. So my business, I use my name. I don't make up names like, astrology from the stars. I don't do that. I use my name because that brings the energy to my name. So a lot of times people will build a business and they'll make an alternative name or a random name to make their business that. I am my business because it's about authenticity of the gift that you have. So you have the gift of teaching. Your business is you. It's not really your skill. It's actually you and how you energetically affect your clientele, how you deal with them, what you bring to the table for them. Because I'll only go to people who I feel authentic about. If I don't feel they're authentic, I don't care what their skill level is, I'm not dealing with them because it hits me different energetically. So I've always kept my name and I do run my readings like a business in the sense that people know I'll work from 10:30 to 1. and I'll open the questions on these days. So I run it like a business. Like I would see clients from 10 to 1 every day, that kind of thing. And then on weekends, only certain times. So I just made pockets of time. And I worked with my kids in the house like you do. I worked with them. So my clients knew my kids since they were in diapers and onward, because my kids came first and I didn't want daycare for them either, like you don't. So my kids know all of my clients. And my youngest son would Scooby out the window. You'd see him on a bed sheet climbing from the second story. He didn't want to walk by the clients. It's hilarious. So he's always flinging himself out the second story window on a bed sheet to get down so he could go play with his friends.
By the way, yeah. Bean is doing exactly that. She's leaning over my computer right now. Bean, these wires are not stable. Go away.
That's exactly how I raised my kids. So I embraced my business like you do as a personal business. My children were topic of conversation. My clients' children were topic of conversation. So if they are exchanging energy with me in the form of money, then they are treated the way that I treat my family in my life, because they are helping me build my life. So I approach it like that. I don't have like any rules for etiquette. My clients used to, sleep on my couch, eat my food, whatever. I never blocked like that. I treated them like that. I gave the service, I did this, and that's just who I am. So I personalized my business to me, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't try to follow like an upscale model or a downscale model. I just was being me. So I think authenticity is what people have to recognize in a brand or a business. Like, just be who you are, whoever that is. And when it comes to monetizing, back in the day, and this is before TikTok, I randomly was, I'm going to say it, intuitively led to people that decided to put me on camera in my profession. So I made a point of saying, I want to be on camera and known as this. And then my first camera job in LA, and this is before, I think I was pregnant with Jason, so it's like 34 years ago. I got a traffic ticket, which for speeding or whatever the heck it was. And I had to go to traffic school, and I waited till the last minute. So I had to split 4 hours. You know how that goes, right? You have to do your traffic school. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, we had to walk in. There was no online. Okay. So, and this is before 92, because my son was born then, and I think I was pregnant with him. But I walked into traffic school. They ask you, what do you do? This is why communication when setting up your own business is important. Telling people you don't even think can help you what it is you do, because they always know somebody. So the teacher says, Sloan, what do you do? I said, I'm a psychic astrologer. Okay, next night I come in, because I had to do 4 hours. I come in, and this guy's there, a couple of new people who had to finish their 4 hours. And she's like, what do you do? The guy's name was Chip. And he goes, I'm a producer at NBC for a psychic show. She says, you ought to talk to Sloan. She's a psychic. And boom, on camera. Right there, right then. Yeah, no, that's true. Right there, right then. And it's because I said what I did. I didn't hide it. I didn't, have shame around it, because a lot of psychics do. We're called crazy night and day. So I didn't do that. And that started my on-camera career, where I got, quite a bit of recognition. I was on the old school Montel and NBC, and a lot of the 91210 podcast,
doing readings. They'd have you on their talk show,
yes,
and they'd have you do a reading.
Yeah, readings. I would deal with divorce. I would deal with adoption. I would deal with dead people. So whatever the topic was, there was a show called The Other Side. So whatever the topic was that day of the guest, they would bring me in, and I would read the energy around whatever it was. Sometimes it was like, this person, this happened to them. What would be the purpose behind this? Or can you tell us? Sometimes it would be purely astrology, sometimes purely psychic, sometimes read colors, read this stuff that I didn't normally do. And I'm like, sure, I can do it. And I'd still read psychically, so it didn't matter. So I got and I have still clients from those first days at NBC that walked me out onto stage and worked at NBC are still clients of mine till this day.
Wow.
They still, yeah, I know, it's weird. I met them when they were young and I was young. And as a result of that, I got called. I did a lot of pilots. I walked away from a lot of contracts, because I'm not afraid to lose money. So if I don't want to do the work, I will not take money to bind my time when I can be creating other things. Sounds weird, but I will pick and choose where I'm going that best implements my time, because the only commodity you really have is your time.
Yeah.
So you need to do it for you, not for a corporation or another person. And I always had a website, even though the first versions were whatever. I always had contact and a website. And, I'm not trying to be professional or not be professional. I'm just put it up there authentic. So whatever I am, this is what I am.
Me and Amanda are trying really hard to do just that. Like, we're starting to fine tune the time we spend on things and where we're putting our time. And it's kind of hard to suss it out right now, it feels like, for both of us.
You have to let your body regulate what works for you. If I have an objection to doing it, I won't do it. Like, if I get a client and they could give me $1,000, I'll send the money back. I'm notorious for doing that. I don't want the pressure of it, so I'm going to do something else. And it always works out in the end. I know people don't like that, but I'm happy to give you your money back because I don't want to deal with your ass. That's terrible. But
but it was hard for us because what that meant for both of us is that we both left that studio that we met you at. That's what happened. And it is so hard to do that sometimes because the relationships that we left.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so difficult.
But from what Amanda told me, and I won't repeat what she told me, but from what she told me, it sounds like the old agent system where the establishment feels like they own the creativity of the person.
Well, it just feels like, what happens is that you just have to, this is from a more high, like 10,000 feet, like we have to figure out how we need to spread our wings. And sometimes that means leaving the city that I love.
Yeah.
For her, it meant that she has to be very specific about how much she's driving around the city and where she's going and how many hours she's spending there.
That's her time. Yes.
Yeah. And it's hard because it was obviously very hard for both of us to leave where we met you and all of the amazing people that I just spent a week with. So
I know.
It's a hard decision sometimes.
We followed you, though. Didn't we follow you?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
That's proof right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just like in the actual action of it, it's so hard to do. And then, okay, I wanted to say this. So you told me that at a certain point you went viral.
Yes, and I did with P. Diddy.
What changed? How has it changed? What was that transition like?
Okay, so the viral part was interesting. I had a YouTube that I had since 2016 or 2008 that I never used because I didn't understand it and didn't care. So I just had my name. I just logged my name in. And in 2018, my youngest son told me to start doing the videos I was doing, which is on dead celebrities. And really the fact that they are in a different religious mindset. So like a Baphomet mindset, and that these are murders. Okay. So that's what's the content of my channel at the time, that particular channel. So I would read dead celebrities. So anywhere from Elvis to Chris Cornell to Princess Di to whoever. And it started with 60 people. Of course, when you attach a celebrity name to anything, it's going to bring a little bit higher volume because people know who Chris Cornell is, who, Anthony Bourdain is, who Princess Diana is, right? So they're going to come to your channel to look at that and maybe join it because of that. So, but that's not why I did it. It actually started because one of the musicians that died, a bandmate called me and asked me why he killed himself. And when I picked the energy up, I'm like, he didn't. So that's how the channel started. And I told my youngest son, and he taught me how to monetize it. He said, and it's true, Keith, my youngest, he said, Mom, you got to get 10,000 followers. And I had like 62. And I'm like, okay. He goes, you just got to do it. He gave me valuable advice. So I just kept putting out videos, pretending like I had 10 or 20,000. So the intention was, even if it's one viewer, I'm going to act like there's thousands of viewers and give them a good product or a good, half an hour, however you want to word that. And when I did get the 10,000 views, my son said, you monetize it. And so he goes, go to Google AdSense, which is what YouTube runs their commercials on your platform on. So I signed up for that. No idea what was going to happen. So the first month I made like $200. I'm like, well, that's cool. That's grocery money, right? Or
And how many videos did you put out, for example, in that month?
Just like one every other week. So probably only 2 videos at that time.
Okay, so it's not like you're producing like a video a day. It was like
No, I don't do that. I'm not under that philosophy. I come when I can, but I'm also operating energetically. So I come when I feel balanced enough to give the information.
Okay.
So if I'm pressured, I'm going to cuss you out. And so that's not going to be productive. So
but that's helpful to know that you actually made a little bit of money with 2 videos a month.
Yes, I did. No, I did in the beginning. And I put some alternative videos because it was a channel that dealt with metaphysical. I did some astrology videos and I did some crystal videos. So like if you're a Taurus, here's a 15-minute video on what I think of that or what that represents. Not necessarily what I think, but the interpretation of that. So I did these videos, and the next hurdle I ran into, and this was truthful, I'm a Leo and I have an ego. And if you tell me I'm fat, ugly, or stupid, I'm coming looking for you. So of course, when you're on the internet, these people do just that. They troll your ass. So you better get a thick skin. And it's really funny because I tell this story all the time, but my son, he said, I came to him, I said, who is this bitch? He would check my site every day and tell me if I had new followers and then text me, right? Like, Mom, you got this. Mom, you got that. This was in 2018. And I said, who is this bitch calling me a bunch of names? I want to punch her in the face. I'm going to look her address up. That's actually what I said. And my son's like, okay, calm down, he says. And he said to me, what do you think Kobe does when people heckle him? This is true. He said that. I said, I don't know. He goes, he laughs his ass all the way to the bank. Don't bother with this. Laugh your ass to the bank. So he taught me the goal, not the in-between. The goal is the bank, not what you said to me about my fat ass or my stupid haircut or whatever, or, any number of things that they said, right? So my son said, Kobe wouldn't be bothered with that. And then he taught me another thing. He followed a kid online called Enoch 777, this little black kid. And the kid, he pulled the video up for me, and the kid would give you like spiritual conversation. The kid had been in jail and he was a young kid. So he would give all his life conversation and about family members that are toxic and stuff like this. And he had about 50,000 followers on his YouTube channel at that time. And my son said, look, because I told him I don't want to film, because there's also a part of us that gets perfectionistic. I'll say that with myself. And I didn't like the way I look. I was like in my early 50s when I started doing that in 2018. And I was like, I don't want to be seen like this. Like I had a career where I look good. Now I don't look good. That I don't look like that. And my son pulls up this Enoch 77 and he says, what's this kid look like to you? I said, well, first of all, he looks like he's high. He's lying on his back and I can see up his nostrils. He's filming like on the couch. And my son said, yes. And he's got 50,000 followers and he's got good information. I don't care what he looks like. I want to hear what he says. Point taken. So I learned that I film the video regardless of whether I'm wearing weird makeup, weird hair. 90% of the time my bra straps were showing. The lighting was off. And the funniest thing is my kids would come home at lunchtime, walk through the living room in front of the lighting while I was filming. So I learned to film with other people coming in and out. So do not get distracted by petty stuff and do not make it too professional. If that's not what you're doing in the beginning, just do it. Just take action. And I learned that from my son. Just take action. Don't judge it. So I feel bad today. My hair's in a squeegee. I have a black eye, whatever. I look like I've been out for 4 weeks, not sleeping. Doesn't matter. No lighting. It's raining. Do the video anyway. And that's what I learned. So I just learned to put myself on a schedule and to take the action. And I'm still in the process of learning like all of the things that I have to do this, to do that, to expand. And I just learned, and my channel built and built. Now, the viral that you're talking about happened in June of 23. So the people on my YouTube channel, they message you, they heckle you, they message you, they compliment you, they send gifts. Always put a PO box too. Always put a PO box. I never ask for money. I don't offer a Cash App. I don't do any of that. I leave a PO box. If you want to donate something to me, you can send it in an envelope. You can send a check. You can donate on the channel. Live streams, when you do a live stream on YouTube, people can tip you when you have over 10,000 people. Did you know that?
Yeah, you had told me that when we were in Mexico. Actually, you've told me that twice. Well, let me go back for a second. This perfectionism, it is very specific with artist entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Amanda Ritchie is one of them, actually, who is like, I've been trying to tell her, you got to get over it because people want to see you. They want to see your posts. And if it's not perfect, she won't do it.
Yes. And that was my problem. And that comes from a critical childhood. Usually somebody's critical. And they will heckle your appearance, like the things I've been called. And I had a guy do a 4-hour video talking about my horse face. And I'm like,
what?
I did find it. Yes. I get mocked on my appearance night and day. This is what trolls do. This is their MO from their keyboard palace in their mother's basement, after they've murdered people. No, really, I did. I had a guy do it. And I did find his address. He was in Mesa, Arizona. Him, I called out. I found him, his girlfriend, and his family. Yeah, all of his socials, and started calling him and saying, you want to tell me this to my face?
Oh my God, Sloan is such a riot if you sit down and have a meal with her. No, yeah, so basically, like, you had to get over it, and you still get over it every single day.
I had to. Yeah, people still come on. They love to say I look like some ugly celebrity that's had a bunch of plastic surgery. They like to accuse me of that all day long. I hate it. And I will come after them, but I don't let it stop me. So I will heckle them. Like when I'm doing a live stream and somebody says something shitty, I'm like, do you want my address? Do you want to come here and say it? And I usually back them on down. And your supporters will back them down. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think that, like, we don't get that type of pushback because it's aerial. It's like people are looking at it. It's pretty. Sometimes they have something negative to say, but it's not the same. So when you went viral, now it opens the floodgates, right? So like, what were the pros and cons? Like, what were the great things? What were the crappy things?
Well, the great thing going viral is I could buy a house cash the next month.
Wow.
That's how much money you make. And YouTube's taking 30% of it.
Okay, tell me YouTube numbers, because I'm just so curious. Like, what was it? What were your followers? And then what was your followers?
Okay, I'm still not at 400,000. I'm still not, because I get blocked a lot. So I get throttled back because of my content, because I talk about things that no one wants to talk about in the psychic world and with murder and with Illuminati and with the government, all of that. But my numbers right now are 390 on YouTube. I should be at 1 million. For months, they throttled me back and blocked me. Like I would get 2 new subscribers. Okay, so when I went viral, that pushed the numbers up probably like 50,000. But prior to going viral, so in 2019, 2020, so about 1.5 years after I really started doing videos and maybe got like 150,000 followers, I was at least making 20 grand a month off of YouTube. Easy.
Oh my God.
Easy peasy. I mean, doing my videos, doing my live streams, and then I would make more money on that selling my product, which is my service, doing readings.
Yeah. Okay. So your in-person business, how many hours a week do you do?
Well, right now I do it two weeks a month, and I no longer do in person since I moved so much. And now that I'm more public, I'm not having people in person as much. I do it on the phone.
So you do the phone. Okay.
Yeah, I do the phone. And so I'm 2 weeks a month, and I only really work 10 to 1, but I charge for my time and it books up in a day. So when I open my books, it books up in a day. I have an alternative thing where for $50, I answer a text question. So I can make my rent in 2 days with the text questions easy. And I don't have to talk to anyone. I just text them back, whatever their question is. Whatever, like, does my husband and I getting divorced, example, am I going to get this degree that I've been in school for? So I monetize my business in different levels. So there's the hour conversation. I used to do readings 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 an hour. Now I only do an hour, and I will sell a 90-minute reading. I will do a full chart reading, I have other product on my website, which is not me personally involved, and I will do one text question answers. So if you have an emergency, which believe me, people do, then they can send me $50, but it all goes through my website. So I opened a corporation. I have a DBA. I have a corporation name and do business as, and I run it through there. I have an accountant so that I don't get confused with taxes and stuff. And I make sure it all goes through one bank account. So I keep it, I know the business end. I run it like a business in that sense, so that I'm on completely above board with that. And keep in mind, at the time that my income is increasing, I'm in the process of a divorce and I'm doing all of that at the same time, So I really made sure to dot all my I's and cross my T's so that I wouldn't be in any trouble in any way, because I had people looking in all areas of my life, right? And I'll tell you another thing that I learned in my divorce. I learned with my business, because my name is Sloan Bella, as you know, as we've said. But anyway, so my husband wanted to take my website in the divorce. This is something that his lawyer presented. And I said, you can't do that because it's my name. And I started to have a panic attack because my initial website, obviously, he helped me financially put it up. Okay. So if you take money from somebody, you have to be very clear about what the parameters of that is, even if you're married. So what I learned right after that is immediately after that conversation, I trademarked my name. So it would be illegal for him to take a website with my name, put another psychic in there to do readings, because I learned that from that. That threat made me react immediately to cover my ass.
Yeah, I guess sometimes it's, things like that happen. You realize, oh, I'm not completely protected.
Correct.
Only when it comes up.
Yes, only when it comes up. And it came up, whatever. And I mean, how stupid. Who are you going to get to do a reading? And you can't use another person's name. So I did trademark it, and it is my legal name. So, but I'm protecting that because back in the day, Madonna had her name stolen. I would also say, if your name is Kerry, get your website under your name. Even if you have other websites with other names directed at it, own your name and the right to your name.
So, okay, Sloan.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for me, Amanda, and Noah? I don't think you know Noah yet, but you will love him.
I do not. I will love him. I love Amanda. The reason I met you is because of Amanda.
I know, because of Fire and Flight. The retreat, yes.
Because of my little Amanda, my cute little Amanda, who should never fucking hide her face. Ever.
I know! She's gorgeous.
What's wrong with you, Amanda?
I know.
Right?
This is where we're at in our businesses. We are in a growth phase. We are in an investment phase. We're in the phase where, me and my partner just bought our primary home. This is our second home, but it's the one we're living in. Amanda is looking to invest in a studio either on the East Coast or on the West Coast. Noah's just invested money into a dating app that he owns, but no one knows about it yet.
Why not?
Because it's not there yet, but it will be. So we're all kind of in this space where we still worry about how to pay our bills monthly.
This is going to be first piece of advice. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
you must not put worry, because energetically, if you believe nothing else I say, the more you put the word worry, like how am I going to pay the bills? I understand the concern. I get it.
Yes.
You cannot think that, because that tells the universe, I don't have the money. I don't have oxygen. How am I going to breathe? You never question that. Don't question your ability to earn money. Don't question it. Assume it's coming in and don't think about it again. Okay. If you fall behind, you worry about it at that time. Okay. Otherwise, why would you worry about it? And I'm telling you, it's a really hard mindset to get into. But you cannot, that is not abundant. What you're gonna pray for, what you're gonna ask for is abundance in all areas, not specifically money. Because money itself doesn't exist. It's a commodity in this dimension, but it's not a real thing as far as abundance. You want to be abundant so you can do what you want when you want. You can create businesses the way you want to. So you have to operate as though you're abundant, which means you don't worry about that. I don't worry about breathing. I don't have emphysema. I'm not worried about it.
Right.
So you shouldn't be worried about it. You have to put that aside. Have you ever been homeless? No. Meaning you haven't like run out of money where you've been thrown out in the street. So it's not a concern. I know why you make it a concern, but you have to redirect your thinking. And the second thing, and this works, this is a spiritual hack, if you will. Every day that you do something that puts a smile on your face, like walk in the grass, hang upside down on a hoop, fly in an airplane, jump off a bridge, whatever it is you do that makes you smile, that brings abundance because it's actually in the action of joy, which is why we're supposed to do what we want to do for a living, not what we have to do. It's joy. So bring joy. Do little things that have nothing to do with earning income that bring joy. It redirects your focus and brings abundance. I'm serious.
Yeah, I know. No, it doesn't. It's a hard mindset to get into when you are not beyond it yet. And obviously you did it because you came from less than I came from a family who gave me everything I might need.
Yes, that's beautiful. Good for them.
Yeah. So
wonderful. Yeah, no, I was disinherited.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting though, because you managed to get into that mind space before you had what you needed. And I think that's the crux. That's the hard part.
Yeah, it never occurred to me that I couldn't get it. Like when people say they can't, I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. So I don't allow those thoughts. I'm not saying I haven't had those thoughts. I don't dwell on them. And if I'm around people who tell me things like, I had a friend that told me, oh, kids can't find jobs after high school. Never my kids' problems. My kids got kick-ass jobs immediately, all on their own. And I never put them in college. I didn't want to waste money on the establishment. So I didn't do that. I did not send them to college. I said, you're not having a college fund because I think it's BS. And my kids had very good jobs in the studios and very good, like powerful jobs. So both of them work for, it's California, so it's not that hard to get. But what I'm saying is they did it on their own. It was expected. You'll work and you'll make money. I never told them they couldn't.
So is this belief, how about the nuts and bolts? I mean, if you can think about when you were building and when you were investing, like, what are the things that we can do?
The investment is the name of your business and your name connected to it. Like if you open a restaurant, obviously it's not going to be your name restaurant, for example. So you would have a separate name, so think of how you want to present yourself energetically. Okay. So just like you thought about the name of your daughter when you had her, like how is she going to present herself in life? You picked a name for her. You need to confirm the name that you have for whatever it is that you're presenting, which I think you should go by your name. Personally. Yeah. And then to establish a foundation for people to find you. That is a website in this day and age. Definitely buy the .com, the .net, the whatever, 3 of them and buy them out for 10 years. So nobody can undermine it.
Okay.
Decide how you want to present yourself. People aren't going to read a whole bunch of stuff, but I've seen your website. It's beautiful. So,
thanks.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So present yourself as you present yourself with your paragraph. That's your first part. Now you have to get people there. I believe it's word of mouth. If I were you, though, I would get myself on a bigger podcast that deals with women's issues so that you can gather some of their following. In other words, present yourself, my friend always writes himself up as his own producer, whatever, except for an email. Like get yourself on a woman's podcast. There's a whole bunch of them. Like you could work it on any way. If they haven't, learn how to put yourself in categories. So for example, if there's a podcast you want to do and it talks about like depression or this and that's not really your vibe, but you have a way in through an experience, you can present yourself as a guest for that, even though that's not your whole identity. The point is to get seen. So you have to build up. So in my case, I put the website up. And then, of course, for me, I did the producer thing around town for mainstream TV, at that point, and because that's all there was at that time. There wasn't like necessarily the podcast thing going on, a couple of decades ago. So I put myself out in a public fashion on a talk show circuit so that I could, And I morphed myself into whatever they said. I got to the point where they required certain things of me, and I threw it out of my head and just presented myself anyway, and it worked fine. So I didn't block myself from an experience just because I didn't have so much experience that they wanted an expert at that. I just walked into it anyway. You see what I mean? So I'm just like, I have something to offer, so I'm going to tell you this, and we'll go at it from there, even though it might not have been my best skill. And I worked with people. I didn't block anybody. So I went on different kinds of, for example, I've been on different podcasts here. Like one of my favorite podcasts that I did, which is not the norm, a friend asked me to do it, was this comedian guy. And he has a co-host that is a porn actress. It's not my norm podcast, but I met on that podcast. He brought me through to one of my idols in my particular work. So he's presenting himself one way in society, but he has a predilection towards my work. So I went on his podcast. Do you see what I'm saying? He's not the norm in my business. He's not known for psychic or metaphysical. He's known as comedian and kind of porn business. And he brings in like all of my group of people like his energy. He's authentic. So now a whole group of us go on his show. And I just did that random, like no expectation. I just did it for a friend of mine. She said, how would you like to be a guest on this guy's show? And I looked at him. I thought, well, that's kind of crazy, but sure. Why not? So I did it. So don't block yourself, because it's word of mouth to build. It isn't necessarily paying PR teams or doing any of that. It's presenting yourself, and you never know who you're talking to. So you could be at the hairdresser and someone might say, what do you do? And you're like, well, I'm an aerialist and I just came back from Mexico. And because God puts us in the path of where we need to go when we are following our soul path, and you are. So you be open to it, and you never know. Like you can't put a block around it. Like I'm not going to meet that person because they don't even know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah, because our aerial world is not that big in the world, like compared to the actual world. But there's many people out there that care about this stuff that they don't do aerial, or that it's interesting to them.
Yes, it was interesting to me. I never done it in my life, and I found it interesting. I found it part of my healing journey. So to throw myself into something that I had absolutely no ability to do whatsoever and had never done, and am not flexible. So for me, it's been a lifesaver.
Okay, so bottom line, Noah Doc, Kerry Wee, Amanda Ritchie, we need to explode out our personal brand being our name into the ether in all directions, basically.
Yes, your hairdresser, everybody, because you never know the conversation, because conversation and energy is what promotes growth. And sometimes we as people get very judgmental about ourselves and like, I'm not going to talk to that person because look at them, they're whatever, crack addict, just put that in there. You don't know who you're talking to, right? And you never know who they know and just their appearance. And you never know where you're being guided to communicate in order to move you forward. And once you accept joy and abundance, you don't put a stipulation on outcome. That's how I look at it. I have no outcome. I have no direction. I'm not saving to do anything. I'm just doing. And today, if I don't want to do it, I won't do it. If I want to tomorrow, I'll do something different. I don't put any pressure on myself. I'm not here to be one-dimensional.
Oh, I'm so grateful for you in my life, Sloan. I really am.
I'm so, well, look what I just said to you, helping me heal. That was true. That's true. I don't like to sit still, and I like to challenge, and I never did it. And I'll never forget you. I walk into your class. I told you this story.
Oh my God, what did I say?
No, I come back the second day or the second week, and you're like, I can't believe you came back.
Yeah, a bunch of you, I felt that way. I was like, I'm never going to see these women again. And then you guys kept on coming, and you guys had so much resilience in that process of getting like a little bit of strength, a little bit of strength, a little bit of strength.
A little bit. Paquito. I was like, I'm a real underdeveloped aerialist. Like it took me almost a year to do a straddle. And I was like, my body don't move that way. But it was the fun of being included in. See, now you know how to do that because you included us, and especially me, in a group of people that were probably more skilled than me. And that's exactly what I needed. And you didn't judge me. You're just like, obviously this girl isn't flexible and she's never done this and she's somewhat uncoordinated. I'm sure you thought all of that, but you didn't discourage me and you didn't put a box around me like, I'm not going to teach this stupid person because she can't do it.
No, I take everybody. You guys are all like rescue dogs for me. I take you how you are.
That's how I want you to run your business. I want you to talk to people and take it as it is. And I want you to say to them here, and actually personally, and I haven't met Noah, but both you and Amanda have attributes of healers when working with people. Amanda's fearless at her work. Like, she had me do a backdrop one time, like a year ago. And I was like, I think I'm going to die. And I did it. And I'm like, I'm never doing that again. But anyway, because I trust her. Like, somehow I feel like when she says it to me, I'm not going to die.
Right.
When normally my paranoid comes in. But both of you have elements of teaching women beyond their comfort zone, which is an important lesson, especially when women get into menopausal age. So you're valuable on any of those podcasts too, because there's a bunch of us women. I'm past menopause now or whatever. I'm 60 in August, but a lot of us women get stuck in patterns of complacency because of our age, and you're valuable to that. Like, you can go on any podcast and direct things that way, because I've watched you do it in the class. I've watched Amanda do it. I haven't watched Noah because I don't know him and haven't met him yet, but Amanda and you, I can say that with consistency. So you can go on podcasts where people are asking about how women can change their life. You two could show up on a podcast like that.
Oh, you're getting my wheels turning.
Yes, women's with physical issues, like how to become more flexible and to get out of your comfort zone, and people with health issues. Try this. Start a beginner class. Work like this. Try a hoop. Try a this. You're going to hate it at first, but you're going to build strength in a different way that's non-conventional and challenging, and yet fun and supportive. You can go in any direction, but I would consider it like, there's so many podcasts out there that deal with women's issues that I think the two of you should be putting your names into all of them with your different backgrounds, and you working at home with a child, and Amanda from her experience basically running off and joining the circus, for lack of a better way of putting that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is valuable for women who do stuff out of the ordinary. Like, what do you do? What do you gain? What does it connect with on a heart level to the people you teach? Because all of us, literally, when we went to Mexico, we're out of our comfort zone. All I'm going to say is compost toilets. Out of comfort zone. Not over that.
Yeah. And we made it happen, and we bonded.
Oh my God, the lagoon. We all jumped in. I just remember you saying, Sloan, I don't know about this, and you jumped in.
Yeah, we jumped into a black water, and I was like, I don't know. And Ray jumped in. I was like, oh, screw it.
Yeah, he jumped in.
We're just going to do it.
Nancy went, then you went, then I went. And there was 15 of us in the water doing that. But see, you are that person taking us on an experience that's completely different than Ariel. Do you see? It's so different. We had to take different pictures. We had to take different jumps in lagoons. Compost toilets, not over that yet. The food was really good, by the way. The toilets, not so much. But nonetheless, different country. So you invited women, and Ray, to come and experience their out of comfort zone from all over your classes. Now, that's about women's growth and facilitating strength in women. Any podcast that deals with that, there you are on there. Just because you're an aerialist, don't limit yourself to that.
Yeah, I feel like I put myself in that box without even thinking about it. I'm like, oh, people who care about Ariel will care about this. And what you're saying is that, no, that's a limited thought.
That is a limited thought for you, because what you did for me, and I'm just going to say this because I have to mention it wherever I go, but after my son passed, I was completely lost. I found your class through Amanda, which helped me heal. I'd never done anything like that. I went to Fire and Flight, found Amanda, and then wanted to get better. And it's kept me preoccupied rather than drinking and drugging and stabbing myself in the forehead after that experience for me. So I'm telling you, you help people heal. You help women get in, and Ray, I like to put and Ray, but you help women get out of that and helped me heal. So did Amanda. Me focusing on that and trying to learn that takes me out of what I dealt with my son. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I watch you guys. By the way, she shared a room with 3 other ladies who are basically
hilarious.
Her daughter, like could be her daughters.
Hilarious.
Or yeah. And the thing is like, you were not the grandma of the group. They said you're her, she's our child. That's what they would say about you.
Yeah. See, the energy and the vibe. I just have a thirst for learning. So you're going to grab people like that, or people from different walks of life. We all have different athletic skills. We all have different mindsets. We all do different jobs, but somehow we all ended up there. Now, would I have met Nancy, a fireman, Nicole, a plumber, business person, or Bree, a professional dancer? Would I have met any of these people, or Kat, or Kaylee, or Ray, or Sienna? I would have met these people had I not Phoebe, Val, you know what I mean? Elaine, I would have met them in my day-to-day life unless they came to me. So it put us in that, which really expands your growth. So you can teach people on a podcast how to expand their growth. What happens to a woman when she hits like your age, my age, what they need to do with their body. You have so many things. What it's like to be an older mom. You have a young daughter and to still run a business. These are all podcasts where you can give valuable information. And Amanda can give it from the perspective of everything she experienced for just going for her dreams and doing her shit and perfecting her career, and what it's like now, and get out of that mindset that it doesn't make money when she can make a lot. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Oh, Sloan, I want to be mindful of the time because I know you're so busy, but I appreciate you so much.
We are all busy. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. Healed me going to your classes. No matter what I felt like, I'm like, Kerry's class is on Friday night and I will be there and I will function. I was dying in my life at that time because of that. Emotionally, I'm talking about. I had no outlet because I don't drink and drug. I wish I did, but I didn't. I don't. I left that to other family members. I left it to the high family members. They were full of that. I don't want to be that. But
Bean, come and say goodbye.
Your production of class helped me tremendously. I'm grateful for that. So grateful.
Bye.
Bye, Bean. Bye. Have a nice lunch with mommy.
She's like, whatever.
Love you too. I will talk to you soon. Hopefully I didn't talk your ear off, but off we go. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Kerry. And just know that you're valuable. Bye, sweetie.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find Amanda Ritchie at Grounded in Flight on Instagram and at Noah Doc on Instagram, as well as Red Flags app. And me, Kerry Wee, you can find at wrapyourheadaroundsilks.com. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. We have so much more coming at you, including guests that are in this art world, that are blazing their way through new businesses, and just more banter from us. Thank you for listening. This is The Artist Entrepreneur.